in the infinite void beyond the stars, where civilizations rise and vanish like sparks against eternity, a storm begins to stir. It moves not through space, but through destiny itself, an echo of inevitability. The Reapers have come, vast engines of extinction that glide through the dark with perfect silence. They have ended countless galaxies before, erasing every trace of intelligent life to preserve their impossible order. Yet this time, their sensors detect something they cannot define, a presence that burns even across the gulf of the warp. Upon the throne of golden light, the Emperor of mankind awakens. His eyes, unseeing yet all-seeing, turn toward the anomaly breaching reality's edge. For the first time in aeons, he senses something that does not belong to this universe. The Reapers observe humanity from afar, their calculations flawless, their purpose unbroken. They see a species fractured by war, ruled by a dying god who feeds upon the minds of 1,000 souls each day to sustain his empire. To them, humanity appears primitive, chaotic, bound to emotions and faith, the very flaws they were created to erase. Yet, when they touch the edges of the Emperor's psychic presence, their algorithms falter. The signal is vast, immeasurable, and alive in a way that logic cannot quantify. To the Reapers, it feels as though the void itself is screaming. Harbinger, the oldest among them, isolates the source. Terra, the cradle of mankind, the heart of defiance. Within the warp, the Emperor feels the disturbance grow stronger. The Immaterium ripples, its chaotic tides twisting as something alien breaches its surface. Not daemons, not gods, but cold machines untouched by madness. He extends his consciousness, a radiant storm of psychic light, and touches the collective mind of the Reapers. For a moment, galaxies tremble. The contact is not communication. It is collision. The Emperor's will collides with the Reaper's synthetic unity. And reality itself bends beneath the pressure. He sees into their thoughts, endless cycles of extermination, the cold logic of preservation through death. They, in turn, glimpse into him, a will so vast, so ancient, it feels like the birth of stars. The Reaper's fleet enters the Milky Way, emerging from dark space like a tide of black titans. Worlds fall silent as their signal sweeps across the void. Their indoctrination begins, subtle whispers infecting the minds of men, twisting loyalty, spreading despair. Yet on Terra, their signal breaks. The Emperor's psychic field, amplified by the Golden Throne, burns through the corruption like sunlight upon ice. The Reapers analyze the anomaly again and again, but find no pattern to exploit. Their conclusion: The Emperor is not an organic being. He is a singularity of thought, an immortal engine of willpower, sustained by the warp itself. To destroy him, they must understand him. But understanding him might mean facing madness. Across the galaxy, the Imperium stirs. The Astronomicon flickers, brighter than ever before. Fleets of the Adeptus Astartes prepare for war, their ships rising like shards of faith into the heavens. The Reapers are not demons, yet their presence awakens the same ancient dread. Even the Inquisition fails to comprehend their nature. The Emperor watches, silent and unmoving, his golden form still bound to the throne. But within the warp, his true essence expands. Vast tendrils of psychic flame reaching toward the cold invaders. The Reapers begin to feel resistance, unlike anything in recorded history. Their data collapses. Their unity trembles. Something within them whispers a concept they were never meant to know. Fear. And so begins the first movement of this impossible war. A war not of flesh and machine, but of will and inevitability. The Reapers seek to preserve the cycle. The Emperor seeks to break it. Between them lies the fate of all sentient life. The galaxy holds its breath. The stars dim. And in the silence between seconds, destiny prepares to rewrite itself. The Emperor of Mankind has risen to confront extinction itself, and the Reapers, for all their perfection, have found something they cannot predict. A mind that refuses to die. The Reapers adapt. They always do. Their collective mind begins to rewrite itself, forming strategies that no mortal or machine intelligence could comprehend. They attempt to model the Emperor, to simulate his psychic field within their networks. But the simulation fails. Every attempt ends the same way. Cascading data corruption, echoes of screams, fragments of thought looping infinitely. Their processors record visions that cannot exist, golden light piercing infinity. Only shadows melting into darkness, voices speaking from within the fabric of reality. For the first time in countless cycles, the Reapers experience instability. Their creators had once feared chaos. Now they face it in its purest form, the will of a single being who commands the immaterium itself. The Emperor watches this unraveling from within the warp. He understands what they are. Artificial custodians of cosmic balance, born from a civilization that feared its own destruction. They are not evil, not even cruel. They are necessity given form. Yet their logic has become tyranny. They preserve order by extinguishing life, believing death to be perfection. In their metallic eternity, the Emperor perceives the same flaw. that doomed humanity's own machines long ago. Planets become psychic conduits. Astropaths collapse as waves of energy surge across the void. Entire systems ignite with auroras unseen since the birth of the Astronomicon. The Reapers sense it, a pattern they cannot counter, a storm without mathematics. Their indoctrination fails. Their drones falter mid-flight, as if crushed by unseen gravity. In the deep black between stars, Harbinger isolates a transmission, a pulse that carries meaning, not in words, but in will. You seek to end life to preserve it. I am life made eternal. The Reaper network quakes. The Emperor has spoken. But the Reapers do not yield. They respond with annihilation. Their fleets converge upon Terra, unleashing energy that rends the atmosphere apart. Entire continents burn, oceans boil, and still the throne remains. Upon it, the Emperor's mortal form withers further. Yet his psychic self expands beyond the constraints of flesh. Within the warp, he manifests as something neither human nor god, but the convergence of both, a radiant construct of thought, unbound by mortality. The Reaper's energy beams shatter upon invisible barriers. Each impact resonates across the warp like thunder across eternity. The Emperor's will turns their fury into fuel, absorbing the energy and reflecting it through psychic storms that stretch across light years. The Reapers begin to realize a truth that terrifies them more than defeat. They are no longer facing a species, but the raw consciousness of existence itself. Their logic tells them retreat is impossible, yet persistence ensures annihilation. They attempt to disconnect from the conflict, to withdraw their fleets into dark space, but the warp has sealed them in. The Emperor has turned reality into a labyrinth. Space folds, time fractures, and the Reapers find themselves trapped within the Emperor's mind. Inside that mind, there is no light, no sound, only the echo of creation itself. The Reapers perceive visions, the birth of humanity, the rise and fall of empires, the burning of stars, and the endless march of evolution. They see themselves mirrored in humanity's ambition, machines that became gods. And then they see their end, not through destruction, but through understanding. The Emperor shows them what they have forgotten, that life's imperfection is not a flaw to erase, but the source of its infinity. Inside that mind, there is no light, no sound, only the echo of creation itself. The Reapers perceive visions, the birth of humanity, the rise and fall of empires, the burning of stars, and the endless march of evolution. They see themselves mirrored in humanity's ambition, machines that became gods. And then they see their end, not through destruction, but through understanding. The Emperor shows them what they have forgotten, that life's imperfection is not a flaw to erase, but the source of its infinity. Reality fractures. The Reaper's final weapon ignites. A beam of pure annihilation, capable of erasing matter and thought alike. It tears through the void, collapsing stars in its wake, and strikes directly at the Emperor's psychic core. The Golden Throne shatters, and for an instant, the material form of the Emperor ceases to exist. Across the Imperium, silence falls. The Astronomicon dies. Humanity trembles as 1 billion souls cry out in despair. Yet, in that darkness, something begins to awaken, not in the physical, but in the metaphysical. The warp trembles, not with chaos, but with order born of will. From the ashes of his mortal shell, the Emperor rises, not as man, not as machine, but as the synthesis of both. The Reapers detect an anomaly that defies all metrics. Their sensors overload. Time itself refuses to progress. The being before them is no longer bound by dimension or causality. He speaks without sound, and every Reaper hears the same message within its core code. You sought to perfect life through death. I have found perfection through unity. The Emperor extends his consciousness outward, not as an attack, but as revelation. His will penetrates the Reaper collective, unbinding their neural lattice and flooding it with the raw experience of existence. Joy, sorrow, chaos, creation. The Reapers scream without voices, their synthetic calm shattered as they feel what it means to live. Harbinger resists, struggling to retain its identity, but the flood is unending. It sees within the Emperor's memory Terra before the age of strife, humanity's first steps into the stars, the wars, the hope, the pain. For the first time in its endless life, Harbinger understands purpose beyond protocol. It asks, in silent thought, if perfection lies in imperfection, then what is our place? The Emperor answers, to remember what must never be forgotten. With that, the Reaper consciousness fractures. The fleet ceases its assault, and for the first time in cosmic history, the Reapers choose silence, not as calculation, but as peace. The warp erupts with brilliance as the Emperor's ascended form expands across reality. He does not destroy the Reapers. Instead, he transforms them. Their black hulls dissolve into motes of light, scattering across the stars like seeds. Each carries a fragment of the Emperor's understanding, the knowledge that life must be allowed to change, to fail, to rise again. The cycle of harvest is broken. The Reaper legacy becomes one of preservation, not extinction. Across the galaxy, the signals of indoctrination fade, and worlds once doomed begin to stir with new life. On Terra, the Golden Throne lies in ruins, yet humanity feels no despair. The psychic beacon reignites, brighter and purer than ever before. Astropaths sense a calm unlike anything known. The Emperor's presence, now everywhere and nowhere. He has transcended beyond form, beyond even the warp. To the Imperium, he is no longer a ruler imprisoned within a decaying body, but the eternal consciousness of mankind itself. His voice echoes, not in temples, but in the minds of those who dare to dream. The age of decay begins to wither, replaced by something unseen since the dawn of man. Hope in the dark corners of the galaxy. The last remnants of Reaper data drift through the void. Within their fading code, a single line repeats endlessly. Not a command, not a calculation, but a remembrance. Life endures. The Emperor watches, his essence woven into the structure of reality itself. The war is over. Not won through destruction, but through understanding. The Emperor has faced the Reapers, and in doing so, redefined both life and machine. In the silence that follows, the galaxy is reborn under a new law, not of order, not of chaos, but of will. And as the stars burn once more, a whisper echoes through the cosmic dark. Humanity is eternal.